Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the session for the College of Business for summer orientation. My name is Molly Brown, and I'm one of the Associate Deans in the College of Business. I'm going to be leading today's webinar, and helping me today is my colleague, Sam Collier, who is our Director of Professional Development and Engagement. Sam is going to be monitoring the Q&A during the presentation. So if you have any questions as the webinar goes along, please use the Q&A. We will not be using the chat function in this webinar. So put things in the Q&A. For some questions, Sam will be answering you directly, and then we will be answering some more of the general questions at the end of the webinar, and we'll be wrapping up at 2 o'clock. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be talking today about what you can expect in the first couple of years that you're here as a student in the College of Business. So you see on the screen here something that we call the COB Success Network. And it's really a lot of different people and offices here in the College of Business that combined will help you to be a successful student and eventually a graduate of the College of Business. So at the top right, you see your peers. Be sure to reach out to other students to connect with them, both your fellow freshmen and then upper class students who maybe have taken some of your classes before. Your peers are a great resource to help navigate things in the College of Business. Of course, you're going to be working with your academic advisor, and you've already been working with your freshman advisor. And then you're going to continue that. We're going to talk a little bit more about academic advising later on in the program. My office, the Office of Undergraduate Programs, we're located on the first floor of Hartman Hall, and we're going to be talking about things that my office does, as well as Sam Collier's office, located also on the first floor of Hartman, the Office of Professional Development and Engagement, and then, of course, your faculty. So we're going to start off talking about your faculty and how you can make meaningful faculty connections. So I have some tips here for engaging with your faculty members. One is to be sure to use their office hours. So I'm going to give each one of you a homework assignment, your very first homework assignment of college, and that is sometime in the first 2 weeks of class. I would like each one of you to visit all of your first semester faculty members during their office hours. You're going to be able to find out when and where those office hours are on the course syllabus. The course syllabus is going to be posted to the course Canvas site in all likelihood. So they may not hand out that syllabus on the first day. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but go take a look at it on Canvas. So locate that office, go during the given office hours, and just introduce yourself. Have a short conversation with your faculty member. The next should go without saying, and that is to practice academic integrity. You don't want that first one-on-one conversation with your faculty member to be because they're questioning some possible infraction of the honor code. If you don't know if something is in violation of the honor code, simply ask, because it can change from course to course. It might be perfectly okay to work with another student on a particular assignment, whereas it is not permissible on another assignment. So if you have any questions about whether something is in violation of the honor code, ask your faculty member. During class, ask for clarification. If you don't understand something that the professor is going over in class, you could raise your hand, or you can go ask them at the end of class, excuse me, or you can go visit them during their office hours. And try to seek assistance before it's too late. Do all that you can to stay current with all of your classes, especially in those first couple of weeks, so that you don't fall behind. It's really hard to do catch-up work if you fall behind early in the semester. We expect students to demonstrate professional behavior, and that is in class to be courteous to your professor as well as to your classmates. Don't talk on top of people. And when you contact them by email, find out what the professor wants to be called. Are they called Mr. So-and-so or Dr. So-and-so or Professor so-and-so or John or Roger? But don't assume that the faculty member likes to be called by their first name by students. Things are a little bit maybe more formal than you are used to in working in that kind of an environment. If you send them an email, make sure you put a clear subject line in. Tell them what it is that you are contacting them for. Introduce yourself. Start with a greeting. Say, "Dear Professor Smith," and then tell them, explain in proper grammar what it is that you want to contact them about. If you want to schedule a meeting with them, give them some available times. Okay. It's going to make things a lot easier when you're working with your professor if you can just extend some courtesy to them. Consider the research experience for undergraduates. It's a paid research assistantship, and you can start as early as the spring semester of your freshman year. You can join later if you wish, sophomore or junior year. And sometimes these research assistantships go on over several different semesters. It's a great way to get experience in research as well as to develop a deeper one-on-one relationship with your faculty. So now we're going to talk a little bit about advising and my office as well as professional development. And we're going to do it in the context of what you can expect to see in the first 2 years. So on this slide, on the left side, you see kind of what you are likely to be experiencing in terms of the courses that you're going to be taking. And I will mention that this is going to apply for students who are pursuing a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. Some of you out there today might be pursuing a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science in Economics or a Bachelor of Science in Quantitative Finance. Your courses are going to be looking a little bit different if you're in one of those programs, but most of you will be pursuing a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. So in your first 2 years, you will be taking a set of classes that we call the BBA Core. And these are common classes that all students pursuing a Bachelor of Business Administration degree take in the first 2 years. And you want to do as well in them as you can. And I will elaborate on that in a few minutes. But most of you are probably registered now for an economics class and a math class. Okay, if you placed into Math 155, you don't see that up here because it's not part of the core, but it would be a prerequisite to Math 205. If you placed it directly into Math 235 or 205, you would be probably taking that now. It's possible if you maybe are bringing in calculus credit that you could be taking maybe the computer information systems class or something. And then whatever you don't take in the first semester, you're going to be taking in the second semester in those core classes. Along with those, you'll be taking some general education classes. So don't be alarmed if you're not taking a lot of business classes your first semester. You'll probably be taking a writing class, a speech communication class, a critical thinking class. You might add in a health class or a psychology class, something like that. But some more general education classes, because about a third of the coursework that you take at JMU is going to be in general education. And you'll be working side by side with your first year advisor up until spring break. Okay, I'll talk in a minute about what happens at spring break in terms of your advising. And to be academically successful, you're going to want to utilize all the resources that we have at JMU to help you out in that area, including working with your faculty and visiting their office hours, taking advantage of any kind of tutoring that is available, whether it's departmental tutoring or something like the Writing Center or the Math Center at the Student Success Center, and try to establish good study habits. Get yourself some kind of a planner of staying organized and staying on top of things, making the best use of your time. Those are all going to help you tremendously academically. So start off strong, get into the habit of using some kind of a planner and manage your time wisely. On the professional development and well-being side, you're not going to see a lot of things having to do specifically with career development in your first year, because really the best thing that you can do to prepare to get a great internship or a great job in your freshman year is to get good grades. Okay, your GPA, establish a solid GPA so that you're not trying to pull yourself up later on. So do be very mindful that your grades matter. And yes, they matter quite a bit in your freshman year. You're going to be exploring some student organizations, get involved, get to know some of the other students. You can join a student organization in the College of Business or one maybe outside. We have about 400 of them across campus at JMU. Start investigating study abroad programs. In your freshman year, it's not too early to start looking at that so that you can figure out where to get that, work that into your overall plan for 4 years, especially if you're going to be doing a semester abroad. Don't think that you have to get some kind of a specific internship after your freshman year. Going home and continuing maybe a job that you had in high school, or picking up a job as a server in a restaurant, or something in the service sector is perfectly fine. But you want to do something that keeps you busy. You might pick up an extra class at the community college over the summer even. And take time to polish your online presence. And by that, I mean, you want to be very mindful of what you have out there on social media. And you might think that it's private, but I can guarantee you that employers have a way of finding out what you have posted on social media. So if you have anything on there, pictures or comments or something like that, that you would not want to, that you wouldn't be proud of showing during a job interview, now is the time to start cleaning that stuff up. So then you go on to your sophomore year. If there are any of the core classes from your freshman year and the BBA core that you haven't completed, you'll be taking those in your sophomore year. In addition, you'll take interpersonal skills. You'll take two accounting classes and complete business analytics. You'll take some more general education classes, probably history, literature, science, things of that nature. And your sophomore year is when you will be working with your major advisor. So I mentioned that you'll be having your first year advisor until spring break of your freshman year. Then you'll transition to a major advisor. We have an excellent professional advising staff here in the College of Business, and that person is going to help you to develop your academic plan going forward. So they're going to help you map out all 8 semesters that you're going to be here so that you can take the right classes at the right time, so that you can graduate and that you don't have any unpleasant surprises that you maybe didn't take the class that you needed. Then you're going to be applying for COB 300, and that marks your official entrance into the College of Business. Now, that's not to say that coming in as a freshman, we don't treat you as a member of the College of Business, because you absolutely are. You're coming in as a business management major or a marketing major or something like that. But then you do have to complete a simple application. And in the next slide, I'll go into more detail about that. Your sophomore year is the time to maybe consider picking up a minor in something. So it might be a minor within the College of Business. Say, let's say you're a marketing major, you might want to add computer information systems to, add some tech skills. Or you might add supply chain management or an economics minor. Or you might want to pick up a minor in something else outside the College of Business, maybe something like writing, rhetoric, and technical communication. Do not think that you have to have a minor. There are a lot of very successful students who graduate from JMU with a single major that, as long as you're doing well in something, that's what counts. Your sophomore year is when you're going to start thinking about your professional development. Sam's office, the Office of Professional Development and Engagement, offers many, many opportunities for you to develop professionally. This is a great time to join one of the College of Business student organizations. And on a later slide, I'll talk more about those. You're going to participate in something called Career Kickstart. It's a semester-long professional development program that is incorporated in that interpersonal skills class. And in that program, you're going to be developing your first professional resume. You're going to be thinking about other things to get you ready to apply for those internships and externships, either after your sophomore year or after your junior year. You're going to activate your Handshake account. Handshake is the platform that JMU uses for students to apply for jobs, to see job opportunities that are out there, not just locally, but all over the world. You're going to start researching employers and find out what kind of an organization do you want to go to work for? What are some companies that are doing some things that are particularly interesting to you, where you think that you would be a good fit? And you're going to start really pursuing those opportunities to engage with those companies as early as your sophomore year. We have a lot of companies come right here to Hartman Hall, and they set up in our lobby. They also engage with our student organizations and with a lot of our upper level classes. And you might be participating in a career track. And again, I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Okay. So I told you I would be discussing the admission into COB 300. Getting into COB 300 should not be a mystery to you. It's not the kind of thing where you are competing against your classmates for some small number of spaces in the College of Business, and you're going to fight tooth and nail against your classmates. It's not like that at all. It is based on how you performed academically in those BBA core classes. So there are 9 BBA core classes. We count the grades in 7 of them to calculate that 2.7, what we call the BBA core GPA, that is required for admission into COB 300. We don't count your grade in calculus, and we don't count your grade in managerial accounting. But all of the other grades, you need to average a B- or a 2.7. You have a maximum of 2 attempts in each of those classes. So that's something really important to keep in mind as you are taking these courses. If you say take your first economics class in the fall semester, maybe you got wrapped up in other things on campus and you fell behind in the course, things aren't going well after that first midterm, and you decide it would be in your best interest to drop the class, you may do so, but you only have one more attempt. A W, that's a grade of withdrawal from a class, counts as an attempt. So manage those attempts very carefully so that you don't find yourself unable to pursue a BBA degree because you have exhausted 2 attempts without success. You're going to be given the opportunity to participate in a program called Clifton Strengths for Students, and you'll be getting an email about this before you get to campus. So be checking your email from for something about that, and you'll be taking a survey in Clifton Strengths to determine what your natural talents are and how you can use those natural talents to be successful, both academically and in your careers. About 90% of Fortune 500 companies use Clifton Strengths with their own employers, and participating in this program is going to give you a way of expressing your talents to recruiters because they understand the language of the Clifton Strengths program. And it's also going to give you an opportunity to learn more about yourself And then when you go to work in teams for student organizations or in a class, you can talk with your teammates about what their strengths are to decide what would be a good way to divide up the work. So you'll take the assessment in the summer, and then in the fall, you'll start having opportunities to understand those strengths, and you'll have those opportunities throughout the 4 years that you're here. So you're going to be working with that academic advisor, like I said, to develop your academic plan. And that person should be a really important resource to you. Make sure that you get to know your advisor and that they get to know you. They're going to help you throughout the time that you're here. They also utilize a group of peer advisors. So there's some upper class students that work in the advising center to help you to decide, maybe you're not sure which major you want to pursue. Maybe you're thinking about adding a minor. Any of those kinds of questions, your advisor is an excellent resource for that. If you have not already enrolled in the COB 110 class and you feel like you could benefit from a little extra help in getting started in college and getting started in the College of Business, the first year success seminar is a great opportunity for that. It's a 1-credit class. It lasts for half a semester, either the first half of the fall semester or the second half of the fall semester. They're taught largely by advisors, and they're going to help you to get a really solid understanding of what it takes to be successful in college and to kind of develop yourself as a future business leader. JMU across campus has many, many offices that are geared toward helping you be successful. One that I want to point out very specifically is the Office of Disability Services. If you had a disability access plan for some kind of learning disability or ADHD or something like that, you had an access plan in high school, this is not the time to abandon that plan. Sometimes students get to college and they're like, oh no, I'm in college now, I have outgrown that and I can do just fine. And then they find themselves in academic distress because they really did need extended time or a quiet environment in which to take tests. So if you have an access plan from high school, please contact the Office of Disability Services, make sure that you have all the paperwork in place. And then once you have that plan, the professors must adhere to it. Without the plan, the professors are not permitted to make additional accommodations. Utilize the resources of the counseling center. Don't be afraid to do so. I know a lot of students, especially freshmen, are afraid to go to the counseling center, that there's some stigma, but transitioning to college is a huge change for you. You might get a lot more homesick than you think you're going to, or there might be some other upheaval in your life or in your family, and it's really a struggle for you to balance your academics and your mental well-being. So please use the counseling center. They have group sessions. They can also help you find other resources. Use the resources at the University Recreation Center. And you might think, oh, what does going to the gym help, with academic success? It really does. Get some exercise. Go and socialize with people. They have really fun, group classes and things like that. Get involved over at UREC. And then there are a whole list of different tutoring centers that are over in the Student Success Center, whether it's math, writing, speech communication. And they're a great way to get something checked before you turn it in for a grade, have somebody else take a look at it and give you some help. And then there are many, many engagement opportunities here in the College of Business. We have about 30 different student organizations. That first week of class, we will be holding a College of Business student organization fair. Be on the lookout for an email about that. And these student organizations are a good way for you to start looking at different majors within the college. You know, you might be coming in as business management, but you might find that you really like computer information systems or something like that. Joining these student organizations, or at least going to some of their meetings and meeting some of their members, is a really good way to do that. We have big student organizations: American Marketing Association, the Association for Information Systems, Financial Professionals Club, Financial Management Association, all kinds of things like that. And most of them are open to freshmen. Sam Collier's office, the Office of Professional Development and Engagement, takes student groups on what we call career treks. These are networking trips and career exploration trips to places like the Washington, D.C. area. We have one that is specifically for students looking to work on Wall Street in finance. In New York, we had this past spring a great career trek to Richmond, kind of geared toward people wanting to go into marketing. So take advantage of those opportunities if you can. We offer professional development and career coaching in the Office of Professional Development and Engagement. We have a liaison from the University Career Center who holds open office hours to work with you on those career readiness skills. And we have some fun things, something like an etiquette dinner, where you will learn proper dining etiquette in case you are invited out to a meal when, say, you go to an office visit for a potential employer. So that you're comfortable with, okay, which fork am I supposed to use? Which glass is mine? What am I supposed to do with my napkin if I leave the table? Those kinds of things. And if you just know them, it'll just make you that much more comfortable. Her office puts out a great bi-weekly e-newsletter called COB Connections. And students, you'll be getting that in your inbox. Parents, if you're on the line here, those e-newsletters are posted to the COB website every 2 weeks as soon as they go out. And it's really a good resource. It tells you what's going on, what employers are going to be here, other opportunities for all sorts of things in the College of Business. We offer a semester-long study abroad program that is specific for College of Business majors. It's offered in the summer and the fall. It is those COB 300 courses. So COB 300 is a set of 4 classes. You're going to take them usually the first semester of your junior year in management, marketing, operations, and finance. And it's a kind of a different environment when you take it abroad. You'll also take a European business class, and you'll graduate with a concentration in European business. Space is limited in that program to 35, possibly 36 students a semester. So it is competitive to get in. Most of the decision about who is going to be admitted into this program is based on the grades that you have earned in the BBA course. So again, getting those good grades in those core classes early is going to benefit you later. And then JMU offers lots and lots of other study abroad programs. We have semester-long programs in Florence, London, and Salamanca. And then usually 70 or 80 different programs in the summer that are led by faculty members all over the world. They might be business classes, or they might be general education classes, or they might be elective courses. There is nothing like experiencing study abroad while you're in college. You're probably not going to have the opportunity to do something like that after you leave college. And family, I know that there are some parents out in the audience today, and I want to spend a few minutes talking with you about your role and how you can be supportive of your sons and daughters. So before they leave from school, make sure that you have a conversation with your student about how you're going to communicate with them and how often you're going to communicate. Try to start stepping back away because in these 4 years, they're going to need to gain a lot of independence. And I think everybody wants, their graduate being able to go out into the world and be successful on their own, standing on their own 2 feet. But keep those lines of communication open. If you're not hearing from them, and maybe you were expecting to, reach out to them. Convey confidence in their ability to make good decisions. Talk about the decisions that they're faced with, because they're going to be making a lot of decisions starting from the time that they get here. Encourage healthy social interaction. Ask them if they're going to the gym. Find out about what's going on. Ask good, open-ended questions and let your sons and daughters talk to you. Try not to tell them what they're supposed to do, but try to listen to them and be supportive. And let your student be their own advocate. If they are struggling in a class, it is going to be up to them to address that and to figure out how to turn something around, for the student to reach out to the professor. Okay. There are some good resources on the JMU Parents and Families website. There is a letter that was written by David Onestak, the director of our counseling center, giving some really good advice to parents about how to help their students succeed. Please understand that we are regulated by FERPA and that it is not permissible for faculty members and administrators to talk directly to a parent or someone that is not the student without the specific permission of the student. It's not at JMU, we do not offer a blanket waiver of FERPA that you sign. You have your son or daughter sign once, sometimes under duress, and then everything's wiped clean. It's really better if we can involve all parties involved. And now with Zoom being as common as it is, I know I have a lot of Zoom conversations, as do our academic advisors, that involve the advisor, the faculty member, and the parent and the student together. And then if it can be a conversation, things really do go much better. We do have differential tuition in the College of Business. This is the case of almost all AACSB accredited business schools, because to be accredited by the AACSB, we are expected to have a certain level of offerings and excellence in the college, and excellence costs some extra money above, say, some of the other departments in the university, and we cannot be completely reliant on the whims of the General Assembly in Virginia for our funding. So differential tuition amounts to $50 per credit hour for courses taught in the College of Business, with the exception of 2 classes that are part of general education, that is macroeconomics and the Biz 160 general education class. But anything else that's either as a COB prefix or any of our major prefixes, you're going to see an additional charge on your tuition bill. It amounts to about $3,000 over the course of 4 years. And it frankly is less than most other schools charge, most other business schools charge. But it allows us to have the things like the Office of Professional Development and Engagement, enhanced advising, enhanced technology, the Capital Markets Lab, all of those extra things that without a differential tuition funding, we would not have. And I will say, as someone who has seen the college before and after differential tuition, that it is a complete game changer in the kinds of things that students can experience. It also tends to help the students get better jobs coming out of the university. Parents, if you pay that extra $3,000 over 4 years, you can probably send your son or daughter a bill, and they'll be making enough money to pay you back later on. It does have an impact on 529 plans. If you are an in-state family and you have prepaid tuition, there will be a bill to you for the differential tuition. Even though it has the word tuition, it's considered a fee that is not covered by the 529 prepaid plans. But if you have a 529 savings plan that you are using to fund college, you could certainly use 529 funds for that. I've mentioned a few ways that we're going to be communicating with you. I just want to point out kind of what's what. Students should be checking their JMU email every single day. You are probably already getting a lot of emails. You'll get some really important communications from your advisor, maybe from your professors, from the Office of Professional Development Engagement or undergraduate programs. My Madison, you have been working in, that's where you registered for your classes. That is where your official academic record resides. So that's where you're going to look to see what your transcript looks like. If you have questions about whether you had AP credits come through or dual enrollments credits come through, those will be reflected on your transcript in My Madison. Canvas is managed by each individual professor for each class. So if you go into Canvas now, you might not see very much there. Don't get upset because you think that you're not in a class because it's not listed in Canvas. The professor has to turn that class on. They have to publish it in order for it to be visible to you. And then we find that parents usually use the College of Business website more than students do. Parents, it's a good way to find out what's going on. And there you'll be able to see that COB Connections e-newsletter. But students, you'll be getting it in your inbox. Families, I hope that you will join us for Family Weekend. The College of Business has an open house and a tour that Friday evening from 4 to 6. So please come by and see us. And then, of course, follow us on social media. We love to see people tag us on their tweets and Instagram. So I'm going to stop the show, and I'm going to maybe bring up some Q&As that have come up. So Sam, what do we see in the Q&As?
So we had a question regarding the core business courses, the lower core.
Right.
And the question was about when you take the lower core business classes. And as Molly said, the lower core business classes are taken over your first 4 semesters at JMU. And that would be your first year and your second year.
Yeah. Don't feel like you have to have a lot of those core classes in the very first semester. Like I said, it's probably going to be 1 econ class and a math class.
And the second question was, is there a specific date that all tuition fees are due by? If you go to the James Madison University Business Office, all of the information about deadline dates, how to pay tuition, room fees is all on that website. And so you can go ahead and go right to JMU. You can Google JMU University Business Office, and that should take you right to the site that you need. Those are the only 2. Now we have open ones. Someone asked, how can I transfer my dual enrollment credits to JMU from Richard Bland College and Nova?
Okay. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and talk about that. So what you want to do is you want to contact the college that granted the credit, even if it was like dual enrollment that you took in high school. The transcript has to come from the college. So and you can usually go on their website and go to their registrar. So it's the registrar's office for each institution that handles transcripts. And you want to request an official transcript. It has to be an official transcript that is sealed. It's stamped and sealed and mailed directly from that institution to the JMU registrar's office. Once the JMU registrar's office gets that, then they will process it and grant you credit. You can go onto the JMU registrar's website now and see, I know in the Virginia Community College system, you can look and see specifically what courses will grant credit to which classes at JMU.
The next question is, will Microsoft 365 be issued to all incoming students, or will we have to purchase it on your own? JMU gives all students Microsoft Office while they're students here at JMU.
Yeah, and our email is Outlook. And so it's all part of Microsoft.
And, you know, I'm going to bring up a quick point about that. We are learning that a lot of students are entering JMU from Google for Education institutions. So in other words, K to 12 schools that are using Google for Education and are not as familiar with Microsoft. However, when our students graduate from JMU and they go into the working world, all of the companies that they work for are using Microsoft. So we encourage students to start using Microsoft Outlook as soon as they get here, and you'll be using obviously the other Word, Excel, PowerPoint for many of your class assignments. So get to know Microsoft early.
And the JMU Libraries has extensive online tutoring for things like Word and Excel through LinkedIn Learning. So you can access that for free through the JMU library.
Someone asked, what is the mailing address? JMU actually has a lot of different mailing addresses on campus. The official mailing address for the university is 800 South Main Street, Harrisonburg, Virginia, 22807. The College of Business Learning Complex is located at 421 Bluestone Drive. All of the buildings at JMU are labeled with different addresses, but the main address for the university is 800 South Main Street, Harrisonburg, Virginia.
And each office has a mail stop code. So you're going to be looking for that MSC code so that the mail is directed to the correct office at the university.
Oh, and maybe, you know what, I'm sorry, you might be thinking about what is the mailing address to send your students something when they're here in a dorm, and that should be addressed at one of the other sessions, and your student will be given and provided an address if you need to mail them something.
Yeah, the office.
I apologize, I didn't think right about that.
The Office of Residence Life will handle that.
Right. Are we allowed to use MacBooks in the business school? I was told by a friend that we apparently can't.
I wouldn't say that you can't. I will say that you might end up regretting it. And it kind of depends on your major. If you are a finance or an accounting major,
Or CIS.
It's real. I think it's really in your best interest to have a PC because of the kinds of computer applications that you're going to be working with. For a lot of things, especially in higher level Excel, you kind of have to make your Mac be a PC. And it's kind of, gutting out everything in your Mac to make it act like a PC. But there's nobody that's going to say, oh, no, you absolutely cannot have a Mac. We do recommend a PC.
Next question. How do we know if JMU got our AP credit? I'm going to reserve that for our academic advisors. So the students will be going in a couple minutes to a virtual session with their first year advisors. And the first year advisor will provide guidance on how that AP credit process works.
And it comes throughout the summer. And hopefully you requested that JMU be sent your AP credits when you took the AP exam. If you did not, you can contact the College Board and ask for the AP transcript to be sent to JMU. It'll cost you a little something if you do it now, but you can do that. It just takes a little while for it to all be processed through our Office of the Registrar. You can keep checking your transcript on My Madison, and that's where you'll find out if it's up there.
I think we have time for one more question here.
Okay.
The question is, I noticed that there was no semester-long programs listed to study abroad in Japan in this presentation. Are there other ways to study for a semester in Japan through another program at JMU?
Sure. JMU works with a lot of external providers. And if the student finds a program that's offered by one of the external providers, our Center for Global Engagement is more than happy to help them navigate all of that. So those are just the ones that we offer in-house, but there are many students that travel to other parts, Australia, Germany, Africa, things like that.
Another question, can I send the transcript electronically?
No, it has to be sent directly from the university or from the college that granted the credit. It has to be a written, stamped, notarized, there's a way for them to make it an official transcript. So the transcript isn't an official transcript, has to be sent in the mail. All right, well, thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your day at orientation. So now is the time for you to go back to that home site that you have for orientation and see what you have on your schedule next. And we look forward to seeing you in, gosh, what, about 5 weeks?
That's right. Have a
All
good
right.
rest of the summer. We'll see you in August.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.